Hello everyone, this is Matt from Real World Review, and today we're going to be replacing the screen on the Samsung A23 5G. It should be the same as a 4G one, but obviously they're going to be different parts. Either way, the tools that you're going to need are going to be a PH000, a razor blade, a pick of some sort, and some adhesive. You might also need some prying tools to remove the battery, so it is recommended to have those as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn off the device, and then we're going to easily just remove the back. It is plastic, so all you got to do is just use a pick or use a blade to get under the plastic and lift it up just a little bit, and then use that pick to cut through the adhesive going around the edges. There are some cables, so you don't want to go too deep with that pick, but you do just want to go around the edges and carefully lift up the back. If you want to add some heat, feel free to add some, but do understand that too much heat will melt the plastic. I recommend starting at the bottom or on the sides and then eventually getting to the camera area, and then once that lifts off, it should look like this. Then we're going to remove all the adhesive that is on the back plastic as well as the frame, which may take a little bit of time because this adhesive is a little weird. Next thing we're going to do is grab that PH000 bit and remove all the screws that you see, which are a decent amount. Try to keep them in order, but they should be all the same screws. Some of them might get stuck in there. Just make sure to obviously not lose those screws. The next thing we're going to do is remove the SIM card tray. You can use a razor blade like I did, or you can just push it out like a normal person. Then the next thing what we're going to do is we're going to unplug the fingerprint scanner. Then we're going to use that little area where the SIM card tray is and remove the back. There's some clips on the right side, top and left side, and then the bottom should just lift up like this. Once you've done that, use a pick to unplug the battery and remove this screw right here, as well as this other screw right here, both with PH000 bits. Then we're going to carefully lift up the board and the charging port area like this and loosen up all those cables. Obviously make sure to unplug the screen right here and set the board and the charging port to the side. Next thing you're going to do is compare what you got. So I got the screen with the frame and there seems to be nothing else, so we're going to have to move everything over. Like the vibrating mechanism, which you can carefully remove. If you remove it improperly, it will separate, so be careful with that. Then I'm going to use a pry tool to remove the earpiece and set it in the new phone. Then you can set the board in the phone, put that one screw in, line up those cables so then the white cable is on the bottom and the blue cable is on the top. Then put in the bottom screw for the charging port and plug in that little charging port cable right there. Obviously, we're not going to plug in the LCD just yet, just because we have to move over the battery first. Side note, if your phone doesn't have volume buttons, move those over as well. So depending on how old your phone is and how they made it, you might be able to use a pry tool to remove this battery like this, but I did have to use a little metal pry tool to kind of loosen up the adhesive just a little bit. Obviously be very careful when you're using metal, you don't want to puncture the battery, so I highly recommend sticking with plastic, but using a metal pry tool that is not sharp at all will be definitely easier to remove the battery like this. Really, I just use it so that I can get the plastic tool in there because I want to use metal as little as possible. Once you cut through a little bit of the adhesive, it should just lift up like this. You just have to add a little bit of pressure. You can add some heat if you want, but I don't really recommend doing that. Next thing you're going to do is remove the adhesive on the back. It's going to be a pain, but you don't really want to reuse this adhesive. I mean, ultimately it's up to you, but I recommend just using new adhesive. Once that's done, you can set a piece of adhesive in the frame like this and push down on the battery so then it sets in properly. Next, what you want to do is plug in the LCD screen, then plug in the battery, making sure that it plugs in properly. And now we can put the phone back together. So when you put the frame on, go with the charging port first, and then push down on all the sides and it should kind of line up like this. You can plug in the power button now, and you can put in all the screws in all the areas that they're supposed to go in. Since we have the back cleaned up, we can put on the adhesive and just line it up like this and cut around these areas like this. If you want to pre-cut them and set them on, you can do that. I just like doing it this way. Once you get a decent perimeter of adhesive like this, all you got to do is just set the back down like this, line up, make sure the cameras fit fine, and make sure the edges feel fine as well. And that's it. Hopefully this video helped you out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Join the membership if you want to help support the channel, and as always, thanks for watching.